couldn't he have done it somewhere close to home in the first place? If it really was just a photo opportunity, there didn't seem to be anything else for it, at least from the story. The next thing is the money that's being spent on that. I mean, for goodness sake, why aren't we putting that money into making our railways better? And whether or not that's trying to solve the strike issues we've got at the moment or actually improve technically the railways, we should be doing one of them instead of spending it on this. Absolutely ridiculous. And the idea that he's saving time, why couldn't he do some work on the train like the rest of us?
Well, the train from London to Leeds takes around 2 hours and 15 minutes, standard class available for about 100 quid. OK, but he chose to take a private jet, a luxury business jet, to do the 200-mile journey. Emma?
I actually find it quite hard to get riled up about this story.
What?
So, on the one hand, yes, completely. There are so many ways in which the government are spending an enormous amount of money on things that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And that we are being taxed up to our eyeballs so that they can spend this money on pointless things. So I can understand why people are angry about that aspect of it. But this story itself, I feel, is a distraction from so many more important... Even what we were discussing about the NHS and that poor lady who had to witness her husband dying before her eyes because the ambulance didn't send the paramedics. There are so many things that we should be talking about, and I think that there's always this temptation for these sort of hit stories to nitpick about certain politicians' behaviour, as with Rishi and him using private healthcare, which I think also was a silly story.
Oh, a stupid story. I couldn't.
So I understand why people are angry about the money aspect of this.
But isn't it tone
But I think it's a
deaf?
distraction.
It is tone deaf.
I think the whole government are tone deaf.
They are tone deaf. They have emergency services. We have nurses striking because they can't fill the fridge at home. And here we have Rishi Sunak telling us to live a green life and to be all environmentally friendly. And then he gets a private jet to Leeds.
I mean, having said that,
the problem is the hypocrisy.
Absolutely, well, I agree with you, but are you actually surprised? I mean, look, it was a COP27 only a month or two before. We signed a second time an agreement to phase down coal. So we signed that, and then we're opening a Cumbrian coal mine. So we signed an agreement saying we're phasing down coal, an international agreement, and within weeks we give permission for a Cumbrian coal mine. I mean, how ridiculous. This is just illustrative of that.
Maybe he just didn't want to face the railway workers.
Maybe that's why he didn't get on the train.
Possibly.
At least go in a car. Like, even the car would... Just
Sure.
a taxpayer-funded private jet to Leeds for a photo opportunity. He needs to justify that.
And look, he can work in the car. I'm happy to drive him. He can work in the back on the way there.
And you know what? Our very clever viewer who said earlier, it's all the talk and none of the walk. That's the point. Don't talk about your values and your platitudes and your stupid videos and then go and do that.
Even if it is the case that he's pushed for time, then this is something that should have been cut out of his schedule.
Yeah.
They should have found another way to do it.
A care home in the middle of London,
if you could,
for the sake
you know
of it.
what, if you're short of time, talk to some nurses today. They'll tell you what being short of time looks like. But, and on that beautiful segue, we have run out of time. Emma Webb, Ed Gemmell, thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Thank you also for all of your messages today. If you've not had enough of me yet,